Hello everybody, I'm Jonathan. Thank you so much for joining me in this video. Let me share with you here the 4 best principles for minimal art illustration. If it is your first time here and you want to learn how to increase your design skills and learn about illustration, start now by subscribing here and clicking the bell so you don't miss anything. Here I'm using the Affinity designer on iPad Pro, and I really hope you guys will learn a lot of techniques applied on here. So we are going to start by talking about what is minimal. From a dictionary perspective, minimal means very small in amount, as small as possible. In other words, for art, characterized by the use of simple or primary forms or structures, especially geometric or massive one. Alright, this sounds really technical, but let me explain this first rule. Well, less is always more, because you don't need to care about to add details. As you can see here, I'm just started the character by inserting the shapes. As you can see here, I'm using the pen tool and pencil tool. If you are using the Adobe Illustrator, CorelDRAW, anything else software, you guys can follow the same process. If you guys look at some websites like Dribbble, Pinterest, and Behance, probably you are going to see a lot of designers making this art style. And what I think about this, I really think that this is a new trend. I mean, a new style that is getting a lot of popularity because of this simple meaning, you know. So you don't need to have a lot of details, a lot of information to describe one idea. And as you can see here, I'm applying the primary shapes, and you guys can follow the same and apply over your sketch. Alright, so the second principle is looking and feel. Here you need to compose the gesture of your design. Ask yourself which message you want to show. Here, example, I want to tell the people that this character is reading overnight. Of course, this depends about each person's interpretation. And you guys can add some details that will make your design more appealing. Here I'm creating some glasses to make this character sound more clever, intellectual, you know. So you guys can play around this and look and feel. And as I told you, if you are using some else softwares, even Photoshop and Procreate, you guys can follow the same principles. Alright? And one of the most biggest reason that I really love to use vector is because my project is always controllable. I can adjust them any time. And I really enjoy to have this control because I can change the colors, as you can see here, of the shadows. And of course you guys can do this the same if you are using Procreate. But as I told you, the way that you guys can control using vector is, for me, is better, much better than if you are using raster. So back in the principles, the third one is attractive colors palette. Maybe you already have seen these colors before. It's very attractive usually. Blue, orange, yellow, and a bit of red with pink sometimes, whatever. This is entirely up to you. As you can notice here, I'm using the fill tool to add some gradient. I'm using here a bit of my art style. This is not a rule, as I told you. You guys can let your art, your design as flat if you want so. And if you're already familiar with my YouTube channel, you probably know some of my best techniques that I'm using here. And if you are not familiar, give it a check in my YouTube channel, subscribe here, and watch my live streaming where I do my things in real time. As you can see here, I'm applying a cog shape. I think this is a really nice technique that I'm using here. So you guys can adjust this and place this behind of the book to make these effects that I want to bring. And you guys can use the transparency tool to add more transition in the opacity. And you guys can add these effects in order to make your design more appealing. So guys, if you have no idea at all about which color you are going to use in your design, there is some website that you can grab some colors. One of these websites is colors.co. On there you can generate some schemes and apply your design. And the last principle is about subtle contrast of color, textures and shadows. And in order to do that, you guys can use a very really smooth subtle texture, as I'm doing here. Yes, you can add some details, but very simple details that make your design more appealing with contrast and more interesting, as I'm doing here. I'm applying here some gradient to this cloud, as you can see here, and I'm using here the vector brush, so these textures is being applied by the vector. And I have a really great news. This vector that I'm using, this vector brush, is from my dinosaur package, so you guys can download for free in my Gumroad page. And the main reason behind of this video is to talk about the minimal art, the principles that you guys can use in your illustration. And you guys can get my exercise from my Patreon community. On my Patreon, I will be able to review your exercise results during my tutorials, so you guys can learn and practice at the same time. Alright? And to make this shape, as you can see here, I'm using the pencil tool. So as you can notice in this video, I'm using just simple tools to make this job done, since pen tool, pencil tool and vector brush. And if you guys want to follow the same process, you can slow down and repeat this process. I really think that with more you practice, more you get better. And remember, you guys can get my exercises in my Patreon community. And we are almost done for this character. I'm using here the outer glow layer effect, as you can see. And I'm opening here the layers panel to select the hair in order to apply a little bit of vector textures in this hair. At the stroke panel, you guys can adjust the width and control the size. And you guys can get my assets and vector texture brushes in my Gumroad page, and you can also download this project at my Patreon community. Okay, see you in the next video.